So you can watch a previous video as kind of a hakdama, kind of an introduction to this video, where I spoke about how certain minority groups should naturally be Republicans. But the one that I think people will find most shocking, hearing from me as a rabbi, as a person of the Jewish faith, and as someone who's registered as a Republican and consistently votes Republican, even though I have some libertarian views perhaps, is the following that I'm going to say. I'll preface it by saying I was watching recently a video where excuse me, my birthday twin, Ben Shapiro, well, one day apart. I got one day ahead of him, but he's he's on the radio and I'm not. I don't know what's going on here. I had one day ahead of him. I should have accomplished more than him. I guess he works harder than I do. But I think I have more kids than he has, so I'm ahead of him in that. But you know, as such a prominent Orthodox Jew, guy wears a yarmulke all the time. You know, even over the years, you'd have people who were Orthodox, even ultra-Orthodox, Haredi, Hasidish, who were in the public limelight, who didn't always cover their head. I mean, I mean, I'm not in the public limelight, but even myself, for certain things for work, I don't always cover my head. If I'm doing a wedding, a civil wedding, you know, for a non-Jewish couple, and it's indoors, it's going to look kind of funny if I wear even my top hat. I cover my head until just before the ceremony, but during the ceremony, I'm standing there for whatever, 5-10 minutes. It is what it is. It's not a violation of halacha, technically. And here, Ben Shapiro, he doesn't care. He always wears a yarmulke. He goes on the campuses, and people protest him, call him a racist and ironically, an anti-Semite. And and here, excuse me. And he wears the yarmulke all the time. Kudos to him. I'm proud of that. It's very good. So he was on Fox News, I think it was recently, and they or some other channel, I don't know. He was debating someone from an organization called CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations, and he just laid all his cards on the table about CARE. And it was a discussion about, I believe it was Linda Sarsour using the word jihad, and it was a whole discussion about that. And this representative from CARE, I don't remember his name, but he was saying, which is true, that the word jihad means an internal struggle. And I never heard of it as a political struggle. What I generally heard was that there's the big jihad and the little jihad. The little jihad is the holy war with weapons, you know, the violent stuff. And the big jihad is what's in your heart, what we would call the Milchemes HaYetzer, the war against the devil, the internal lusts and desires to sin and things like that. I use the term devil in a colloquial or metaphorical sense, not as an actual being necessarily, but in the mythological sense is what I term it in the Jungian sense, and we can discuss about what's real and not real about that. It is real. Is it necessarily being? Is it yes? Is it no? Does it matter? In the Jungian and I would say Karen Armstrong sense. I won't say Armstrongian because that means something else. So and it got into a whole argument over semantics, and Shapiro was saying, look, this what is this? This is you're an unindicted co-conspirator, and then the guy from CARE was like, well, we're unindicted. They're arguing back and forth. The question has to be, does CARE really represent the Islamic community in America? Because they're clearly a radical left-wing organization. And, there has to be an outreach to the Muslim world in America from the American right. Because we should be, the American right, including Orthodox Jews, including Christians, politically, should be natural allies to traditional Muslims, people that might be called moderate Muslims. All right, I have a call coming in. I'm going to have to answer this.